Nee, maar ik test mijn brace. Mijn belt. Fuck.
Nee, weet ik, maar dat gaat wel een finish fixen.
Okay, so that's squat and bench wrap for my SBD day today. 300 kilo squat for one. One back down of 3 with 250. Then 192.5 kilo bench for one with 4x2 back downs at 170. Squat went pretty good. I really noticed that when I unracked and walked back, that I felt myself squish into the floor, and that wasn't the best feeling. So I think next week, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm going to probably do it at home and just try to really get amped up and not think about failing. Just get really focused, really amped, and just ace it, which is going to be 310 next week. I've squatted big weights at home before. I've done it intensely. But the last couple heavy sessions I've had at home, I haven't gone aggressive enough, and I've been too hesitant and too wary, and I can't do that. But I also don't want to feel what I felt with 300 on my back today, because I literally felt like I was standing too wide, but I didn't want to try to adjust my foot position because I knew it was going to cost too much energy because of how much I was sinking into the floor. It's a problem of luxury, so to say, because not very many people have to try to squat these weights. And I'm sure also a lot of people wouldn't notice these kinds of things, but I'm definitely sensitive to these sorts of things. And at home, I'll just have concrete floor, a thin layer of carpet, so it's quite similar to comp, or very often similar to comp feeling. But yeah, that was squat. It went still pretty solid. Honestly, that was the least fatigued I've ever felt after squatting 300, I think, where I felt just normal afterwards. It went a little bit wonky. But all in all, not bad. It moved good, felt consistent, didn't feel too heavy. I'm very confident that next week with a little bit smaller jumps, that I can move 310 at least similarly to that, if not even. We'll see if I can make it move a little bit better. If I can do that, then I'm very good on terms of pathing for what I want to aim to do on comp day. Then for bench, my warm-ups felt a little bit wonky. I was struggling to find my good positions again a little bit. But then after my last warm-up for my top set, I kind of clicked again, and I got into really solid positions that felt really comfortable. I still fumbled my unrack slightly, which if I do that, the weight can feel a lot heavier in my hands for some reason. But then during my back downs, I sort of figured out how to reliably get into those positions, because in all fairness to me, like how I'm used to setting up or used to set up and prep for last NK, I wasn't really thinking very much about my setup. I was kind of just getting into position, just so happened to be a very strong and good position. And recently I've been probably overthinking and trying too hard, and jamming myself into positions and trying to do this and that and bracing too hard, not letting myself arch and just sort of settle into position. And what I noticed on my 170 backdowns, when it would go good, so like my last set was honestly my favorite, when it would go well was when I would just simply get into position with my upper chest, with the arch, jamming my neck down, bring my chest up to the bar. Visually, that my chest would be much closer to the bar than it say was or felt for my 182.5 single. That keeping that tucked tight, but not keeping the belly brace incredibly tight, not focusing on keeping that arch up, but simply sort of settling my butt down to the bench. And in doing that, it's much easier for me to keep my feet flat, much easier for me to keep my butt down, much easier for me to keep the arch during the press. All of that feels really good. And it's actually, instead of sort of, hopefully that can become second nature again, sort of like how it was on my 166x6 earlier this week. But it's starting to feel like if it isn't going to be second nature, I can at least get into those positions in a way that I understand and can reliably reproduce. Because in my prep for, say, NK, bench was just going well, and I didn't really know why. Like these elements to my technique and setup weren't things I was actively thinking about. And now I'm starting to understand what it was and what I was doing and why it worked, or at least what worked. Don't really know why it works better, but at least I can now feel that it does work better, and I can kind of know what I'm doing instead of just kind of accidentally having that happen, and that feels pretty awesome. Hopefully at some point in the future, Jacob will listen to this when bench isn't so good, and he can understand a little bit what I mean. But it's almost like taking the setup less seriously and just making sure to keep my chest close to the bar, and taking it and just like settling my butt down will more reliably help with the bench. I think when bench starts to not go good, I start to overthink my setup, and then it ends up just messing things up. So lesson learned, and hopefully it keeps going well. Today felt really strong on bench, felt pretty solid in squats, and now it's time to have a little bit of a snack and head home to do some deadlifts. I'm thinking of, it'll probably be that I'm going to go for 335 today, which is pretty crazy as a week 2. But yeah, peace.
Get back, kick back.